Hey guys, it's me Jan Dragon. So today's video we will do Who Should You Pull edition for 5.4. So this is between Mizuki, Sigewinne, Wriothesley, and Furina. So yeah, as usual in our cover about the overview, good and bad, things to know, should you pull the weapon on Constellation, something like that. So yeah, let's get started. So let's start first with a brand new character, Mizuki. So in general, Mizuki, if you just think as a standard character, she is actually pretty much decent on-field sub DPS. She is not typical like sub DPS that we mostly use as off-fielder like Xiangling or Yelan, something like that. She is more like typical like character that sub DPS, but you need a little bit on-field. So because of that, it's quite unique that we don't have so much this type character, or the one I can only think right now is her basically. So yeah, because of that, it's quite unique and adding something different in Genshin, which is pretty good in here. Another good news is that you should not worry that she will become like Dia Disaster. At least at her release, she already have couple good teams that you can use. Let's say like Taser with Mizuki it can work, or even like Aggravate it can work, or you want to play something for fun like in Burning it still can work. But in general, she can work in those type of team and it's pretty much like not bad. It's decently can work, and because of that, it's already much in the better state than Dia when it's released. And she also have additional feature where if your HP is below 70%, she can heal by become the item. So yeah, quite similar like case like Benen, which is still pretty much nice. So it's not just work as just like pure as a sub DPS, but also have some like healer capabilities in here. However, some things to note regarding Mizuki is that because she is like sub DPS but in the same time demand like on-field quite long, it makes her place feels like quite weird or hanging. Because usually sub DPS is only very fast, right? Like Shinjo Yelan like kill burst and you just swap. But in the center Mizuki, when you use skill you still need move around, so it's kinda like quite a long time. But in the same time, she's not main DPS, so it just feel like half and half, quite weird, especially if you want to use her, let's say like in Vaporized team, or want to use her as a like swirl type of team to utilize the fairy design, it will feels like a little bit awkward for rotation. And it will not as optimal like Kazuha. But in the same time, if you want to make Mizuki like fully just like main DPS, it will be that justified because other like main DPS will feel more superior. So because of that, she feels like hanging, feels like half and half. Although in some teams, let's say like picks up like Taser, it can make up her like weakness. But yeah, in most of the cases that you want to utilize her as a sub DPS, it kinda cannot work optimally because she has this a little bit awkward of on-field. Also, like things to remind in here regarding Mizuki is that don't expect her to just become a dedicated support or buffer like typical like Kazuo or Sucrose where it will buff the entire party to make them deal more damage. No, this is indeed actually the reverse. So just thinking like similar like Lynette, this is basically her kit is built in to make her deal her personal damage to deal more swirl damage, but it will not buffing the entire party, it's just to make her deal more swirl damage. So yeah, sure, she still have like little bit buff basically only just from the VV or very decent set strat itself and a little bit healing, but that's basically it about the buffing. But other than that, she mostly just about dealing damage. Lastly, Mizuki, it's not bad in terms of exploration too, especially in the horizontal exploration where you just need to across a little, maybe there's a gap or hole because she can just float right. You can pass that easier.
And before I move into my recommendation for you to pull for Mizuki, I want to give you a reminder that Mizuki will be part of the standard banner after this version. So because of that, the major contribution, the one you want to pull for Mizuki is that first, because maybe you don't want to wait any longer, you already impatient, you just really want Mizuki right away, maybe because you really like the character and gameplay, then sure, you can pull Mizuki right now. Because another reminder I want to give you is that because she will be standard banner, so for the future selector on Genshin Impact's anniversary, you can basically choose her. So it's already basically guaranteed. It's just like matter of time. You don't need to even rely on losing 50-50. It's just matter of time. That's why the major contribution for you to want to pull Mizuki is that maybe because you just really like her and cannot wait her any longer. And second, maybe you really like to play in the swirl type of DPS like Chao, Lynette type like that, because not so much like typical character that focus on swirl, instead like support, because mostly like Anemo is kind of like supporting, right? Like Lanyan, Kazuha, Sucrose, but Mizuki is more like swirl oriented like Lynette Shaw, something like that. Maybe if you want to expand this type of team, then sure, you can pull for her. And lastly, of course, maybe because if you spend her, then you just feel, oh yeah, I can just spend money and just want to get her, and now then sure.
For Mizuki, should you pull for early Constellation or signature weapon? And in here I can say, because Mizuki will be going into standard banner, I just recommend for you to pull for signature weapon, just because like you will always have chance to lose on her. Also, like even on anniversary you can even choose her, so basically already guaranteed to get Constellation. While weapon, it will be more rare, like you can see Hunter's Pet and even like Beacon of the Red Sea, it's very hard for them to rerun, only special cases, and we don't know when her signature weapon even want to rerun. So because of that, I will say like prioritize to get her signature weapon first. However, I can say like another goal that you can go, which is C2. C2 is still pretty much nice because it also still gives you a quite good amount of Pyro, Hydro, and Cryo Electro damage bonus to the all party members, which is pretty much still nice. So yeah, if I have to rank, so however you want to go for the Constellation, I can say the C2 is pretty good because it can increase all party member Pyro, Hydro, Cryo, and Electro damage bonus. So it's pretty much a nice too. Second character is Sigewinne. Basically, Sigewinne I don't want to talk constantly because he doesn't have so much to offer. Basically, the main good point about her is that she's a good healer, and that's basically it. And maybe if you want to add a little bit, she's cute, and that's basically it. And just being good at healing, it's actually not enough. Because in standard of Genshin, a good healer required to have a good healing plus a good buffing. Because if you're only good at healing, it's usually only useful at the early beginning. Mostly probably like early AR until like 40, but afterwards you already go above that. You need a healer that just not healing, but they need to do something else. Because in Genshin, damage is more important though. So even you can say like Cookie, where the healing is not really that great, but her application is so good, it can work so great in Hyperbloom. But Sigewinne, in the other hand, yes, she heal a lot, it's very good, but she doesn't have anything to offer. Like what? Application is bad. It's even worse than like Kokomi. Kokomi is still better, at least in freeze. And what? Buffing? Buffing, she has nothing. It's very underwhelming. Only like damage increase on skill 2800. It's no multiplayer. It's just like a flat stat. So yeah, compared to other healer or even shielders, she doesn't really offer anything, and that's so sad as a limited character. I feel so bad for her because I felt like she's so cute, but yeah, I think Hoyo did very dirty for her. The only one thing that I can highlight that she did pretty okay, which is with Nubilet, and that's basically it. But in the end, I still have my recommendation for you to pull for Sigewinne, which is first, this is mostly the main contribution. If you like her gameplay and character, then yeah, feel free to pull for her. And second, this is maybe the one that a little bit maybe gives you reason, which is if you want to extend your Nubilet team, then yes, you can consider Sigewinne, because with Neuvillette, yeah, she can work quite good with Sigewinne. So maybe if you want to extend your variation in Neuvillette team, yeah, you can consider to pull for Sigewinne. But other than that, maybe if you really need a good healer, but to be honest, for me personally, I just choose another healer that better. Just use Bennett even instead though.
And lastly, of course, I think this is another major contribution from Sigewinne, mostly because you like the character and gameplay.
For Sigewinne should pull for early Constellation or signature weapon, then I can say it doesn't really matter if when you decide C1 or signature weapon. I think they are about the same. They are okay, but nothing crazy. But for me, I will not pull if you only aim C1 or signature weapon. But if you decide to go for C2, that's where I find like it will be better than signature weapon, because it can give you hydro rest decrease to the enemy by 35%, and that's actually pretty good. It makes finally Sigewinne not just like a healer but finally become a support, so which is pretty much good. So if I have 2 rank, if you go C2, then C2 is better than weapon. Third character is Wriothesley. Wriothesley in general is still pretty much a good main DPS, and because she's a catalyst, she has a quite wide range to cover for the cryo reaction, so she can perform good in both like freeze and melt. So and that's usually good. Usually like character, let's say like Ayako only good at freeze, right? But Wriothesley, she can cover both and pretty much good though. And another thing is that because her playstyle, it doesn't feel like you play catalyst, you just basically using fist, it give a little bit kind of like fresh playstyle. Maybe if you like enjoy like fist, like fighting something like that, you might be enjoy Wriothesley. Also recently Wriothesley get additional teammates, which is Citlali, so also that's good. in any cryo related, plus get resistant interruption here. So yeah, you can finally have more variation that you can play with Wriothesley. Regarding Wriothesley Dawson, there's one that I can say quite annoying, which is his fully potential or his pull kit is actually locked behind C1. Because at C0, it's very hard for you to fully utilize his kit. You kinda want like above 50% but less than 60%, so it's quite annoying for you to meet that requirement. But with C1, it does no longer become a problem, which is I can say that's quite dirty to design a kit like this though, which is locked behind C1. But it doesn't mean that you cannot clear content. For sure you can still clear content like Spiral Abyss, Theater, but it's just like it feels like waste you cannot fully utilize his kit on Z0. Things that I want to highlight in here that being cryo carrier right now is quite disadvantage. It's also not just Wriothesley but like Ganyu, Ayaka, it's quite disadvantage because lately most of the content, especially like freeze, it's not advantage any freeze at all. Because most of the stuff that they put mostly like single enemy or even like enemy that you cannot freeze. And even for melt, it's not fully utilized for the cryo character. It's for the pyro carry itself, they were paired with melt. So yeah, it's quite unfortunate. And if you want to compare, let's say like Mawika melt compared to Wriothesley melt, it just feels so much different. So because of that, it feels like Hoyo quite abandoned cryo. I don't know why, it just feels so sad. It's no Wriothesley fault. But I still have my recommendation for you to pull for Wriothesley, which is first, if you still need a main DPS, you still feel you lacking of main DPS, then sure, you can pull for Wriothesley. She still pretty much can carry you. And second, maybe if you really enjoy to play in a cryo related type of team, then you can consider for Wriothesley, because Wriothesley can cover in wide range any cryo related type of team, like any type of freeze, any type of melt. He basically can make it work though, because Catalyst though, it has pet advantage in there. And third, if you like the character and gameplay, feel free to pull for Wriothesley, especially as I already told you that how they literally abandoned cryo. I don't know when they will rerun this character. If you really like this character, then just pull for him.
For Wriothesley, usually pull for only Constellation or signature weapon, and my answer is that all the way just go for the Constellation. Just because the C1 is really good, it will just finally unlock the full potential of Wriothesley kit itself instead of going off the weapon. However, if you want to go C2, then this is really up to you. And I can say depends on your situation too. If you already have other like 5-star weapon, let's say like Scaramouche weapon or even like Nibblet weapon, then I think going C2 will be better than going signature because the upgrade will be not so much. However, if you don't have those like weapon, then you can go also for the signature weapon too, because it gives you crit rate, and crit rate sometimes can be hard for you to get. So yeah, in very short is that just go with the Constellation first, get C1, and the last character is Furina. So Furina in general is very good support character, and her build is basically very universal. It's not only say, oh, it's only certain element, or it's not like, oh, it's only certain scaling like Bennett only buff attack. No, she basically buff any elements and even physical, and that's actually very good because it's just universal. Also her summon, it's not bad. It's dealing quite high damage, so that's also a good thing. And the application also pretty good. Her summon also very nice, not just because the damage, but something for some enemy that they go like fly up to the sky, let's say like the Ruin Drake, they basically can just chase, and actually you don't need like bow character, and actually very convenient. Another thing is that she actually can heal, but of course with the trait you cannot apply any hydro or even deal damage. But in Centum, hey, that's quite convenient. You can have like 2 bot forms, and usually is quite useful in exploration though, so you can keep swapping. And I think she can also of course walk above the water, so quite good also for exploration. However, she of course has a little bit downside, which is she has restriction in terms of team building, because she need basically healer, especially like you want healer that heal a lot and heal everyone. So sometimes it kinda restrict you to build a team. So for sure you cannot put shielder. That's also another like restriction in your building a team. So because of that, yeah, it's kinda hinder a little bit her versatility. And also regarding her Pneuma form, is basically the form that only heal. It feels kinda waste aside exploration. It feels like we rarely will use, so I feel like it's quite a waste potential. And for my recommendation for you to pull for Furina first, if you need a versatile like basically support that can basically do buffing, have a pretty much good application of hydro itself, and also like dealing quite good damage of damage as a sub DPS, then yeah, Furina will be one of the choice that I very recommend. Basically, I can say one of the best support that
you can basically decide to pull. And second, if you need basically a hydro character that can cover any hydro related reaction, and you can decide to pull for Furina because she can cover everything, even until mono hydro she can basically perform very good. So vaporize, any hyper bloom, freeze, she do pretty much good in any type of hydro reaction. Third, if you have this healer like actively using, or even you already pull, let's say like Jin, Xianyun, Baiju, and even Sigewinne, then yeah, I recommend for you to pull for Furina because this healer will be working very great with Furina though. Another things that maybe in exploration you want to kind of like infinity walking above the water, then you can consider to pull for Furina. Although right now this one already have like couple different character right now. And lastly, of course, if you like the character and gameplay, feel free to pull for her. For Furina, should pull for early Constellation or signature weapon, then my recommendation is that all the way just go for early Constellation, just because even C1's already good. It gives you increase in fanfare limit, so increase the buffing power in general too. You can check my video. C2 also even better. It will increase also your maximum HP whenever you use the burst, and also you will easier to get the fanfare point. So it doesn't really need for you to have so much healing anymore. So that's actually very nice quality of life. So yeah, this one just so good, all the two Constellation. Compared to signature weapon, actually the weapon is not bad. It will increase her personal damage. However, like for the low Constellation Furina, we mostly want to use her as a support, right? So because of that, the weapon is mostly good if you only aim for C6 where you want to make her as a main DPS. Other than that, it's better for you to just get Constellation. So in short, just go the Constellation all the way. So yeah, that's pretty much it regarding who should you pull for 5.4, and if you ask my verdict, I will choose is easy Furina, just because Furina is just very versatile character, like very good support. It will buff like any single type of element, like physical, even if she can buff, like make some teams even better, like Xiao, like some Geo team, anything like teams you can cover from Vaporize, generally. It's so much like versatile on there. And yeah, it's just pretty much a very good and very versatile support, like pretty much one of the best support that I think I quite recommend for you to pull. So yeah, my verdict is Furina. So yeah, I hope that can be helpful, and I hope the best of luck in your pull. And if you like this video, feel free to hit support button and like, and also next time. Bye bye.